FM20 Network Career. It's Wycombe v Tranmere Rovers, which we'll talk about a bit in a minute, because it no longer is. I'm joined as always by Craig and Charlie, who have sort of slogged it out with the club that they started with. And by that, I mean not done that at all. So we will talk about that as we go along. But firstly, very quickly before we talk about that, a big thank you to everyone that's watched the first two episodes. If you've missed them, they're available in the eye above. Please do catch up, because today will make no more sense to you based on that. You can hear the nervous laughter in the background, because these two boys have got to try and explain themselves in a minute. So as you can see, we're back mid-season review, January transfer deadline day. I'm still at Tranmere Rovers. But if we go to the home screen, Craig Savage and Charlie Betts are at AFC Wimbledon. Now, I know that you're going to want to explain yourself and get it out of the way, but I need to point out one key thing. Craig and Charlie are not the same manager that they were before. They had a little bit of trouble at Wycombe. No, hold on. You had a little bit of trouble at Wycombe. So rather than slog it out at Wycombe or accept your resignation and try and get another job, you have faked the death of your manager, created an entirely new man, and taken over a different club at the same level, which there's no other way of describing it, is cheating. There'll be a poll in the eye above so people can vote. Is that cheating? Killing off your manager and creating a whole new man just because it hasn't worked out the way you like? Go and have a vote, and we'll review on that next week. But Charlie and Craig, explain yourselves.
You say cheating. You say cheating. I don't think it's cheating, because I could have easily just gone, do you know what? I'm going to bump my manager rating up to like the best in the world, which I haven't done. I've kept as it is.
They're not the same manager though, Craig. That's the main thing.
They're the same manager.
But we're in the entertainment business, Dan, and we weren't very entertaining at Wycombe. So people come to the channel to be entertained. Not,
hang on. Whoa, you've just shot yourself in the foot here. We're called the Honest Football Podcast, and you've cheated and you've lost.
We were honest, and we thought we have to leave this club, and we did. We were honest with ourselves.
I will say,
no problem with that.
Our position was untenable at Wycombe.
That's fine. All of that's fine, boys. I've no problem with you choosing to leave Wycombe. I think you're missing the point here. What I have a problem with is you then deciding to retire that manager and make an entirely new man.
But it wouldn't have been as good a series if we'd have been down at St Albans or somewhere.
No, but it would have been a fitting comeuppance, I think they would call it.
The thing is, I don't know why you're slagging this off. You couldn't beat a team that had five at the back.
Can I just point out, Craig, that people can see the table here, so we don't need to worry about it.
People can see the table, and the thing is, the table doesn't obviously lie. Wycombe are rubbish, and they're lucky they're in 15th place. We're only now I'm at a decent club and a rising club in AFC Wimbledon. I'm not far off them. You, on the other hand, no one cares because you just keep getting injuries galore.
I'm not quite sure how you define not far, but okay, carry on.
What do you mean not far?
I mean, we've got points, and Wycombe have got a game in hand. 9
points is not much.
11, Craig, 11.
More importantly, we're 16 points off of you, Dan, which is worrying.
I don't think that matters. I don't think that matters
either. But the more important issue is the fact that
the thing is, he thinks he's actually going to actually get the playoffs. He won't make the playoffs.
I was predicted to finish below Wycombe and AFC Wimbledon, so take that as you will.
You never know what we might do in the transfer market yet. There could be a few funny goings on.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Charlie, because on that note, I think we can predict what's going to happen in this episode, which Craig is going to consistently bid £0 for Stephen Payne, who's worth 300,000.
He's not worth 300,000. Sorry, Stephen, but it's not you, mate. It's your manager. He's been a stubborn man. That's the arrogance of the manager, and I felt sorry for him because you shamed him publicly, and I defended him.
Anyway, moving on. So the expectations for the rest of the season, obviously for us now, are to survive relegation, which we're doing a fitting job of. I've got to say, a lot of this has fell on Craig's shoulders. I would say I've been more of an advisory role on a personal level than what I have actually doing any of the managing.
The busiest man in the lockdown.
Absolutely.
So with that in mind, let's move this on a bit. Dan, tell us a little bit about what's happened for you. You've had a couple of injuries between the last game and then where we are now.
I mean, the only thing I wanted to point out from Craig's team is that I've sort of bitten myself on the arse a bit because I recalled Morgan Ferrier to try and get back at him because he was at Wimbledon just as Craig took over, and he's managed to get in Russian Hepburn Murphy, who was at Tranmere before January in real life, and he has scored goals for fun for Savage. But I am with Tranmere, sorry, not Wycombe. I've managed to secure a few of my loan deals on permanent contracts, which mean I've freed up a couple of loan spots, which should be filled today. And as Charlie mentions, I've had just a couple of little injuries. Just a couple in the sense that I've had times where I've had 15 players unavailable. And at this point, having 3 injuries is the best I've had all season, although all of those are long-term and one coming back from a half a year out. But other than that, I'm still just about in the playoff hunt, despite the fact none of my strikers are scoring. Despite the fact I've been in pretty poor form for the last 3 months, we've managed to cling on. And when we have won, it's generally been emphatic. So I'm looking forward to the next few weeks and the next few months. I mean, we did beat Wimbledon earlier in the season, but it was just before Craig took charge. So unfortunately, I can't take the credit for that. But I think we're in a pretty good state.
Sorry, I was looking at Craig's transfer dealings. I'm sorry. Carry on, as you were. Sorry.
Well, I'll very quickly show you my transfer dealings, and then Craig can show you his hilarious ones, which seem to have got Charlie into a fit.
No, I just hope you see it, if I'm honest.
I'll be showing, don't you worry. So in terms of my transfers, this January, the main things we've got is loads of 16-year-olds still signing, but Alex Woodyard and Danny Hilton coming on cheap deals as permanents. They were both on loan before, and we have got a lot of loans we're trying to do on deadline day. I've also ended the loan deal of Andy Cook. I know Tranmere fans love him, and he's been a legend in the past, but he was earning £4,000 a week, and he wasn't good enough. I've also loaned out Peter Clark, who's 37, remarkably sold Scott Davis, the backup keeper, to Leicester for nearly £200,000. And George Ray has gone for £60,000 to TNS in Wales. But what I'm going to do, Craig, as Charlie seems to think it's the best thing that's ever happened, is go to your transfer dealings for the season. Can you please talk to me about them?
Yeah, so obviously once I joined the club at the start of January, just before I left, I could potentially use the Man United game as my last game, but I thought I'll leave it a much bigger high. So my Rashad Hepburn Murphy was a surprising one. I didn't think I was going to get him because he's currently on loan at Derby. So I'm very surprised Aston Villa accepted it. So you
can take over a loan of a player, can't you? Which is big, important sort of news. I didn't realise you could do that.
Nor did I. So Hepburn Murphy's been in. It's been a revelation. He's now our top goal scorer already with 5 goals. And he is going to be the seeds of the survival for AFC Wimbledon. Other players are coming, youth players really, because I can't really get anyone with experience. So Ryan Clark, he's on loan from Tottenham, normally with the under-23. He's a young lad, only 18, can play on the left-hand side. I just need a cover on that side. And same with Ethan Bristow. I didn't think I was going to get him. He's currently on loan at Reading, but he can do a job at left mid and at left back. Yeah. And finally, a goalkeeper on loan, because the other goalkeeper that we do have on loan, Nathan Scott, he's injured at the moment. He's on loan at West Ham. So we've got Mathieu Kovar from Manchester United on loan. Just a young 19-year-old Czech goalkeeper. At the moment, he's covering for Joe Day, but I might start him next game ahead of Joe Day. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. But hopefully we can get some more players in on transfer deadline day. And my director of football is Sir John Steele.
Which is the only good decision you've made, if it was you who made it. I've
got Patrice Everin as my coach as well, so that's also the second best thing.
Well, that's familiar from another series, isn't it, Craig?
Yeah, I can rely on him. I can rely on him.
And you've got my first ever favourite player as your head physio.
Have I?
Stuart Douglas.
Is he the physio?
He's the head physio in real life at Wimbledon.
Oh, excellent. Didn't know that. So there you go. So yeah, that's my team. But yeah, no. Since we've taken over, we've been unbeaten until the last game of the season. Last game, just previously to Burton, who are obviously struggling themselves, but which is a bit of a disappointing defeat. But we need to strengthen in some areas, and I'm looking forward to transfer deadline day.
Craig, I'm delighted as well, mate, because February is going to be a very hard month for you because you've got all the promotion contenders. So this is going to be an important day for you. So we're going to take part in transfer deadline day. We're going to go through the day. And as we get breaking bits of news from either club, we will be back to share them with you. Right, we are 15 minutes into deadline day, and Craig, Savage, and Charlie Betts have already turned into scumbags. We have had a bid for Morgan Ferrier for 10% of his wages on loan, when the man was being paid 100% of his wages at Wimbledon earlier in the season. Unless that happens, he will not be going. So we're going to negotiate that. And this has happened all the time, trying to unsettle our players, bidding nothing for Stephen Payne, bidding 10% of the wages for good players at League One level.
I don't think we've upset your players. I think you've upset your players.
I think you're making a mockery of football management.
I don't think there's anything wrong. Again, I don't think it's cheating. It's just trying to turn a player's head, isn't it? It's just trying to get them to, think about it and think that the grass is green on the other side, Do
you remember the word derisory that was used when Arsenal bid 40 million and £1 for Suarez?
Yeah.
Yeah, it all stinks a bit of that here.
Well, I've got some breaking news. I've got a striker on loan, Yannick Toure.
Oh, let me come and have a look at him, Craig. Bear with me.
I have no idea who he is, what he's like. I've just gone for him.
Is he from Newcastle?
Yes.
He is from Newcastle.
Not bad.
Well, I can only see a couple of his stats.
I'll tell you what, Charlie.
Yeah.
Oh.
Are you excited?
I'm a little bit excited. I think a little bit of wee came out there.
Why have they rejected that?
That's a disgrace.
Can we tell him?
I can see in the background that you've tried to bid for all of the players I've got on loan to their parent clubs to take over their loans. He's gone for Lecco, Curtis Jones. Who was the other one?
Levitt
as well. He's injured for a month, so I don't mind about him.
We were desperate to get Lecco just to get your reaction.
If that went through, I would have cried. You would have turned the game off.
I'm still playing professionally, and I have got lots of breaking news. So I have got 3 loan offers to be accepted, and we'll go and meet all the players in a minute. But obviously, those watching can see on the screen who I'm accepting, and we'll meet them in a minute. But there's going to be some breaking news for Charlie as well, which is going to very much upset him.
Ooh.
So there are, and you're going to love this, Craig, because wheeling dealing, 5 players about to join my club. Let's skip ahead and meet them. Right, Craig, you might have signed 1 player, but I have signed 5, and let's go and meet them very quickly. So first along the list is, and I haven't even bothered to scout half of these. That's how desperate I am. So we've got Harvey White on loan from Tottenham. We are paying £120 a week for him in wages. He is a central midfielder. He's going to be a squad player at best. 18, 2.5 ability. He's nothing special, but with all the old boys getting injured, he's a good one to have around. Next, we've got a much better one. Liam Miller from parent club Liverpool. We're paying 10% of his wage, which is £300. He has 3.5-star ability, 5-star potential, electric quick, natural on the left wing and up front. I'm hoping he might solve a few problems for us. He is going to be a superstar. Third is a player that came through at Manchester United, and I've loaned him in from Sheffield United, and I'm a little bit underwhelmed. That man is Callum Gribbin. He is 21 years of age, 2.5 ability, 5-star potential, lots of flair, no personality apparently. So that's very good. And then Charlie's favourite is coming next.
Oh no.
So level out all the loan signings, Charlie. I have gone back and got a man that I sold right at the start of this save for 1/5 of the price. And that man is Jake Caprice.
Yes. No, I've no problem with that.
He is back.
It's a travesty you sold him in the first place, to be honest.
It is, to be fair. So I'm going to send back the loan backup right back, and this means I can have a substitutes bench again. Jake Caprice, only 2.5 ability, but I've got him back in for 30 grand, and things are looking very good having him here.
Who did you sell him to again? Newport, was it?
Who did I sell him to? Good question. It was MK Dons.
Oh, right. Very ironic.
Where he couldn't get in the first team. And last is probably the star of the show. I'm paying £8,000 a month to loan
Hold on a minute. Before you get onto your final player.
Yeah.
How much did you sell Caprice for?
140,000.
And you bought him back for what?
33,000.
Wow.
Good business.
That is good business.
Last of the pile, though, is John Nolan on loan from Ipswich. I'm sure he was at Accrington or someone like that for a while. Who was it? Chesterfield he was at. That's where I remember him from. Another club Craig knows well. I wonder if he'll bottle them halfway through the year.
No.
But this player, 3.5 ability, 3.5 potential, the natural replacement for the likes of Potter and Neil Dams, who are declining at speed. And he's going to be the final piece of the jigsaw puzzle. So we have got 5 signings coming in. Unfortunately, Kane Wilson, the young right back from West Brom, we're going to have to terminate his loan, but that's £1,500 off the wage bill. And I am ready for a big playoff push in the second half of the year. And now, at 9:15, my work is done. I'm back to bed early in the morning, and Craig Savage has got a long day of work to do. Right, it's 2:45. I'm back with 2 more injuries, as is predictable in this this sort of season with Tranmere. But I've also got some news, lads, and that news, after a 20-minute break for Charlie's power cut, is that 37-year-old Neil Dans is coming off the wage bill, £2,000 a week, and he is moving to Leyton Orient for £8,500.
You're a disgrace.
So, goodbye to Neil Dans. That's the first one out.
Absolute disgrace, that is.
Oh, big news at Tranmere Rovers, Craig. We have a loan signing coming in. Now, I'm taking a gamble here because it's a position I've got a good player and it may need some flexibility and it's a lot of money wage-wise. But that man, Craig, do you want to have a guess?
Oh, it's probably Neil Mellor.
It's not Neil Mellor. It is in
Neil
fact
Mellor?
It is in fact a player who's starting pretty much every game for Luton in real life. The actual answer is Harry Cornick. So the right midfielder that Craig's been desperately looking for, and I've got too many at my club now. So Harry Cornick is joining Tranmere Rovers. Right, the transfer window has closed. There is no more action for me. It is the 6 signings? 6 signings, I think. Yeah, 6 deadline day signings. A couple going out as well, most notably Neil Dans. Craig, I'm going to go over to you because you've got a bit of pending news potentially with your senior advisor, Charlie Betts.
Yeah, so we need to cover because Scott Wagstaff and Mitch Pinnock both can play right midfield and they're both injured at the moment. But we've gone for a complete unknown in Jamal Lawrence, who's not been playing high enough for a League One standard, but he's just another body that can fit the position.
Is this England's Jamal Lawrence, 23-year-old?
Yeah.
Yes.
Who has... I'm just going to show the history. This is a League One side in AFC Wimbledon. So 1 appearance for Cheltenham, then Bishop's Cleeve, Oxford City, Cirencester. I'm presuming he's been released from these clubs. Hungerford, and then Gloucester, where he was released after 15 appearances in 2 seasons and a loan spell out 2 tiers below. But the answer to all your problems.
However, I think that we have an eye for a player. And, you know, I go back to what I said off air, which was when Wycombe got that non-league striker, Michael Essendon, and scored in the FA Cup quarter-final. You know, that could be Jamal Lawrence's story as well, of keeping AFC Wimbledon up with a last-minute header. And
you signed 9 players in this transfer window.
Who did I spend £175,000 on? Oh, because I've made 3 little deals. So Woodyard was £50,000, Hilton 85, Caprice 33, and then a loan deal for 8,000.
Is Mark Palios happy with yours?
He is, because I sold Scott Davis for £175,000 as well. So it's all levelled out.
Can I just really, really quickly say that on behalf of anyone who supports Tranmere, the fact that you've sold Neil Dans, whether he was over the hill or not, for such a paltry amount as well, is actually a massive disrespect to a great servant of the club and an all-round legend. And bringing back Caprice does not cover for the fact you sold Neil Dans, just so you know.
The thing is, yeah, it shows he made the mistake in the first place, getting rid of Caprice.
I don't think it does, because he made, what is it, 90 grand on the deal, or whatever it was. So,
more than that, I think.
What was it? I can't remember the numbers, but yeah, roughly. No, I'm just saying that you put money before the priority of and the love of the fans, Dan, and I don't think that'll go down very well.
Well, I appreciate your opinion. I respectfully disagree. If he hadn't kept getting injured, he would have still been at the club and playing regularly. But I just want to ask you boys before you go what your hopes and expectations are for the rest of the year, because you're expected to finish 19th in League One. Ironically, 1 place above Wycombe now. So what do you think of that, and what do you think of the rest of the year?
Well, the main thing is what we need to do is survive. And considering we've
had an excellent start at that.
Yeah, and like they won 1 game before we turned up there, and now we've won 4 more. So we just got to keep going, keep the survival rate up.
Seeds of survival.
We'll hopefully get us there.
So apologies to the viewers for the fact that you're going to hear that phrase about 1 million times in the next 2-3 weeks. Do you worry, Craig, losing to a relegation rival last time out, that you maybe the new manager bounced, the honeymoon period's over, and that you're going to drastically spiral out of control for the second time this season?
No, I don't think so, because we never spiraled out of control the first time. It was just player power. and an arrogant chairman.
You get the backing
away.
of the club.
We didn't get the backing. No, we didn't get the backing. And
you were forced into retirement in 4 months. I would say that's spiraling out.
Because they had no faith in me, and I was a bit too ambitious for them. They were boring.
No, let's be brutally honest. It was me. I was a tinker man at the beginning. You lost the dressing room because of my arrogance of trying to play long ball football without actually having the know-how or the players to do it. And that basically sort of blew up in our face. But Lazarus, like Ruben Noble Lazarus, no less, who was too greedy to come to us, like Lazarus, we have made a comeback and we will finish above Wycombe. And I reckon we will be within 8 points of Tranmere.
Wow, that's a bold
statement. I disagree on the 8 points. But no, I think we'll survive. I really do. Southend are terrible. Burton are terrible. And
you lost to them.
Yeah, I know they're terrible. It could be Joe Pigott and he missed a penalty. But I think we'll be fine. I think only 5 points above Sunderland.
Yeah. And I'm going to make a wager live on air. Okay. I reckon Jamal Lawrence will score between now and the end of the season.
Will score?
He will score in a game for us.
Oh, he will score in a game. Yes, he will score.
I've got one final question for you, Craig, which is, what are your hopes for your senior advisor, Charlie Betts, for the rest of the year?
Well, it depends on its connection.
You can blame my blooming energy supplier, but go on.
I guess the final point for me is I'm in 8th, 6 points off the playoffs. I am still with the same club, still with the same manager.
No way.
I'm not sure. I think we'll be on the edge, but if we have better luck with injuries in the second half, we might have an outside chance.
I don't think you'll make it because you just lose stupid games.
To be honest, I agree. But if we can get a striker scoring, we can keep people fit, we'll cross our fingers that the magic will happen.
No, totally disagree.
Thanks, mate. And that is it for this third episode of our FM20 Network Career. That's the halfway update. Please make sure you vote in that poll above. How ashamed of you am I of my co-host for cheating? Please do go and vote. Please do let us know in the comments just how disgraceful their behaviour has been. Let us know what you think of both of our January signings and what you think will happen for the rest of the year. I'll very quickly show you the schedule, which shows we will be back on the 21st of March, just as the start of the running comes in, for AFC Wimbledon at home to Tranmere Rovers. It could be a crucial one at both ends of the table, so make sure you're here next week to see it. If you enjoyed this one, put a thumbs up on it. We'll all be back next week at the same time. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter at HonestFootball3 and subscribe below for more regular content from the podcast. See you next time.